I also know that you like to travel, and that a lot, I think, from your travels, you took a lot of inspiration, I think, also for your work. But that's maybe something we can talk about also, because I know that just in the past few days and weeks, you had a few first times, I believe, in terms of travel, because I know that you were in Africa. And are there any first times from the last few days or weeks that you could talk about and share with us that may have left an impact or inspired you in a specific way?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So this year I went to Africa for the first time, and I have planned it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can say, I absolutely loved it, because there's so much to learn from people who live there, and so much to feel, and so much to explore, and to go to that beautiful nature, and to be able to connect with that and see all those living beings and trees. It's just so nice. Like, I would definitely recommend everyone to go there, but just to make sure you are safe and you're going with your friends.
Interesting that you mentioned you're going with your friends, because I know you also like solo travel, right?
I am.
So does it depend a bit on where you go, if you go solo or with others, or how is that for you?
Yeah, so I am a solo traveler. I travel solo 99% of my time. But if I go to the dangerous country, like for example, the last country I've been to is Gabon, I try to make sure I have a friend there or I know someone. So if there's something happens, which I hope no, I can call to someone and ask for protection.
So you basically have a friend locally then in the country.
Right.
Oh, that's a very good advice. I'm very sure.
And as we're building a community, and as we're having like a lot of people around us, which are from so many different countries, I'm sure like you can find easily someone who is in that place where you want to go.
Yeah, and also today with social media and so on, right? There's communities where it's so much easier than in the past to connect with people that we may not even have known, and just find through our friends of friends and so on. I am happy to hear that this all worked out and you came back safely, and just connecting with people around the globe, and often also solo. Do you think it helps when you travel alone that you connect even more with people?
I think it's only depend on our preferences, because for some people it's quite difficult to travel alone. But in my case, it probably gives me some more freedom. Like I can, let's say, go anywhere I want, without, let's say,
compromising.
Yeah.
Talking about decisions.
I love travel. I love to travel with someone, but there are some things which most of my friends would not like doing. Like, let's say, going to the village to African village and stay there at night. I mean, there's nothing happens. There's nothing to see. So it's a little bit, might be boring. And so I don't want to even force anyone to do that. And at the same time, so I would not leave my friend alone in the city and go to the village. Like, this is just an example.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So that means you are not after like glossy sightseeing pictures, but you're really after getting as close to the experience of local communities as possible. That's what you like to do.
Right. I can say I like both. Like for me, it's very important to have a beautiful and cozy, amazing place where I can come back and sleep, where I can come back and work. And at the same time, I would like go to the most unexpected destinations and see like the most non-luxury things. But then I always need to come back to my clean and nice place, which is like, can be very, as you said, glossy.
Yeah, so between maybe the familiar and the stable to the unfamiliar and this exploration, that's of course also what Many Firsts is about, right? So this exposure to newness, to things we are not so familiar with, to just get us inspiration also, and a fresh mind. So why Africa? Why did this come up for you? Is there a specific story behind that, or?
I really like to travel to the places where most of the people don't go. And that's the first reason. And the second one, I really like to see how people live in countries like Africa, in like let's say slums of India, because it like once you see it, it really makes you appreciate whatever you have, and you see like that your little problems are not really problems. Like you can solve those, but there are actually people who are starving, who don't have anything. They have no water, they have nothing, and like all they want to like for the next 1 week is just $1 to be able to buy a food, and we just have all of that, and we just don't see it. Like even the soft bed we sleep on, we don't pay attention how special that is and how many people don't have it.
It's very true what you're saying. So it's basically putting things into perspective, or giving new perspectives, fresh perspectives on things.
Definitely. Yeah. And the most touchy thing for me is seeing kids. Like I have this beautiful memory, I call it beautiful, from India. I've been on the street, and then I saw the mother with the child. They're so like the child is very clean and happy, and then another child, like a street child, without shoes, like without proper clothing, looking very like dirty, I can say, like in the mud. And the child comes to another child while their mother is busy, and they're the same age, and they just look at each other. And those little guys, they don't know like that they're like at such a different level, but they are. And to actually see it, and like it was such a special moment for me, because so many of us, we are just blessed from the beginning, and we forget about that, and then we have such a big desires and try to achieve more and have a lot of expectations, and it makes us feel sad and upset. But actually, we skip the very important part, to be grateful and just to be here and just to enjoy the fresh air and just to be alive.
Running water and
just being alive.
Yeah, just being alive. It's very beautiful what you're saying. Has that always been a theme for you? If you look back, have you always been wanting to go and travel to maybe places that people would not go to in the first place, or the majority wouldn't? And have you always understood that this brings in this element of gratitude to your life, or did this come up maybe more recently for you?
I think my purpose of going there was one of that, to feel more grateful for what I have. Because as we are in Dubai right now, it's very easy to live here and then to see your little problems, but it's very important to go out sometimes to another places and to see what the life can be. Like it's not like this everywhere. Like here, it's not so luxury. It's not so like everything is not so available, and people have completely different life.
Yeah.
And in the places where, let's say, $100 is a lot of money, people live like months for this money, and we just we just worry here if we don't have few thousands. So
and it creates understanding, empathy, and it's very true. But do you sometimes also feel helpless when in situations where you see that people are suffering, or how do you cope with that? Maybe also, I don't know, keep a distance, or do you not need to? Or how is that for you?
So when I see people like that, I can say, I have a lot of compassion. I get a lot of I feel very compassionate, and at the same time I feel very inspired, because I really feel like giving them wherever I can. And I think just giving is one of the most important things in life, because it brings so much joy and happiness. And when you can just share a little bit of what you have with others, and you see those happy faces, it's just so amazing. It's worth living and worth working hard. Yeah.